Alright, this review is on the Glock 23. Now before you do anything with a firearm, you check to make sure it's not loaded. So we'll take the magazine out. Rack the chamber back. So visually inspect the firearm, physically inspect it. This weapon is good to go. We can start taking it apart now, playing with it or putting new pieces on it, whatever may be. Now this is the Glock 23. It is a .40 caliber firearm. It's compact. The length from the tip of the barrel to the end of the slide is 6.85 inches. The height from the bottom of the magazine to the top of the slide is 5 inches. The weight on this firearm is 21.16 ounces. Loaded, it's about 31.03 ounces. The trigger pull has a 5.5 pound pull. This is a newer Glock, so it does have the rail system on it for attachments. Now I did a few upgrades to this weapon, but before I did, as it was stock, really good firearm. It is one of my favorites. It's just light, it's small, .40 caliber. I like that round. It's a good bullet. It'll get the job done. And like always from Glocks, I've had no problems with it whatsoever. The first upgrade I did to it was I put these sights on, these night sights. Now they're from Trojacon. I was looking at some True Glow sights before, and I'm not trying to knock them. They have pretty good sights too, but the ones I were looking at were just too big. They stuck out to about here, and then the front side post was about over an inch or inch and a half, and I just didn't really like that style. So I went with these. The rear lights up yellow when it gets dark, and the front side post lights up green. Really easy to see. You don't have to charge it up or anything, and it has some sort of chemical in there that just lights up at nighttime. It's good for 12 years until you got to replace it. So pretty happy with those as well. I plan on putting some more on some of my other firearms. The other piece I got is a chrome conversion barrel from Lone Wolf, which actually converts this caliber to a 357 SIG. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And a stainless steel guide rod. So let's open up this Glock, and I'll get into a little bit more on what these parts do. So we'll point it in a safe direction, pull the trigger, pull the slide back a little bit, pull down on these slide lock lever. Take out the stock guide rod. And the stock .40 caliber barrel. Now for the 357 SIG barrel, like I said, I bought this from Lone Wolf. When you purchase barrels from them, you can get either conversion barrels or replacement barrels or extended barrels. Whatever the case may be, they show up with this stamp on the front, the caliber, and a picture of their wolf. That shows right on the ejection port on the top of the gun. So if you don't want that, you can have them blind mark it, like I did this one, where you'll only see chrome on the outside of the gun. They do stamp it inside of it where you can't see, because they want to let you know that they're the manufacturers of this barrel. but it's not visible to the outside. So that's what I did with this one. Go ahead and put that in. Now the guide rod, this one's the factory one, and this one is the upgraded one. The upgraded has, or aftermarket, has a Allen key little mark right there. This one does not. So after I fired quite a few rounds down here, I noticed that was getting a little loose. So what I did was I unscrewed it, put some Loctite on there, tightened it right back up, and haven't had a problem with it since. So I recommend you do the same if you go with one of these rods. I bought it because it's supposed to have a lighter recoil, smoother recoil, and last a lot longer than the factory guide rods. So we'll go put this in. Now we're ready to assemble the firearm. So we just line up the rails on the lower receiver with the rails on the slide. Make sure they're both in there, everything's evenly slided. And this firearm's ready to go for the .357 caliber. Now the other great thing about this upgrade, or not upgrade, caliber change, is I don't have to worry about getting .357 magazines. This right here is a Glock 23 magazine, as well as this one, and you can see that that one has 40 caliber rounds in it, and that one has the .357 SIG rounds. So don't have to worry about changing a barrel. Works with the same magazines. You can also purchase a Lone Wolf 9mm conversion barrel for this weapon, but you do have to change out the magazines to Glock 19 magazines. And there you have it. The Glock 23. If you thinking about getting a Glock, you might want to consider this one.